Good morning, folks. Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Omer Ahern Jr., and this is my periodic report as a Grafton County Commissioner. And I try to give these reports so that you know what's going on. This modern media stuff is probably a little bit easier for my reports to you to get out to the public. So I serve as the District 3 County Commissioner here in Grafton County, and I am one of 3 commissioners. The Commissioner Wendy Piper is from District 1. She serves the Hanover, Lebanon, Enfield District. Commissioner Linda Lauer, who is the chairman of the Grafton County Commissioners, she serves District 2, which is the northern and western towns in Grafton County. And in my capacity as District 3 Commissioner, I serve the towns in the southern and southeastern part of Grafton County, ranging from Dorchester and Groton and Rumney, actually Warren to the north, and Bristol, Alexandria, Canaan, Grafton, and of course Plymouth, Holderness, and Hebron to the south. So I'm going to report to you on the last 2 meetings since the last time I spoke with you. The first meeting was on Tuesday, May 1st, regular commissioner meeting, and our first agency or department head that met with us was Karen Clough, the Human Resources Director, and she talked with us a little bit about the separations and the hires at the county home, both the Department of Corrections and the nursing home. And we have some challenges there. We have quite a bit of turnover, both in the nursing home and in the House of Correction, the corrections officers. And it's a constant challenge on how we can keep people up there in Woodsville at the Grafton County complex. So if you're interested, if you're an RN or an LNA, and you're looking for some what I consider good employment in terms of good salary, good benefits, retirement plans, good medical benefits, and a state-of-the-art nursing home, Grafton County is the place for you. And I would recommend that you, if you're interested, to contact the Human Resources folks up there at Grafton County. Karen Clough is the director there, and talk with her. You can go online to get the telephone number for the Grafton County, New Hampshire Human Resources Director, or you can contact me. I'll give you my number at the end of my report if you need a phone number for there. Then we had Craig Labor, who is the nursing home administrator. And the nursing home we have 135 bed capacity nursing home, skilled care, skilled beds. And we serve Medicare residents, Medicaid residents, and we have a certain percentage of our residents are private pay. At the time of his report on May 1st, we had 122 residents in our nursing home, and yet we have 135 bed capacity. We need to, it's pretty obvious that to meet the revenue projections and to pay the expenses up there, we need to work a little bit more diligently in getting those beds filled up. And one of the problems that we have, though, is many of our residents that come into the nursing home, they're very, very high acuity levels, and unfortunately, people pass away. And so as people pass away, we need to start the process of filling their beds. For example, I can give you some year-to-date totals. We've had 30 admissions to the nursing home since the first of the year, but we've had 25 deaths in the nursing home over that same period of time. We've had 10 discharges. That is people that were able to go back into the community, because we do provide a certain amount of rehabilitative care that allows people to come in, get the care, and then go back home based upon their needs. And the average stay of a resident at our Grafton County Nursing Home is about 18 months. So, but we really do need to work on trying to get our bed capacity level increase. Although when we do our budget, and that's one of the things I've got to talk with you about today, is the budget. You know, the revenue figures in the budget are based upon a certain amount of Medicare residents, Medicaid residents, and private pay. So again, we have these staffing challenges, and if you're an RN or an LNA, we certainly would love to have you come and talk with us about coming to work at Grafton County. We then had some discussions with the Employee Council. That's a group of folks who represent the non-union employees at the nursing home and in the House of Correction and in the Sheriff's Department. And they had presented a list of things that they wanted to see given to the employees that they represent. And they wanted a 3% COLA, cost of living adjustment, and some changes to the sick leave and other things, bereavement leave. And so we'll be probably talking about those things in the budget. I can tell you this, that the majority of the county commissioners voted for a 1.5% COLA increase for the Employees Council. That is what's included in the budget that was passed yesterday by the county commissioners, but it was on a 2-to-1 vote. I was the dissenting vote for a number of reasons, which I can certainly talk with you about going forward here. So that was the minutes, and that was the things that we discussed on May 1st. We signed a lease agreement for with the state of New Hampshire because the county does own the courthouse, the county courthouse up there in North Haverhill, and we have a 3-year lease agreement that this time, because of some questions that I asked and insisted upon, is that we go with an increase in the rental amount that we charge to the state of New Hampshire. That hadn't been done, and so I felt that that was something that needed to be done, and the state of New Hampshire did agree to pay an increase in the rent. We also had some non-public sessions, things that we needed to talk about. So that, in essence, is kind of what we talked about on May 1st. Oh, one other thing. We had an attorney come in from a a law firm here in the state of New Hampshire, attorney, Attorney Bonsignor, Robert Bonsignor, wanting to talk with Grafton County about joining the opioid litigation. And he had an interesting proposal. We are going to be talking about that. We talked a little bit about it at yesterday's meeting, the May 8th Commissioner meeting, and whether or not the county wants to sign on as a plaintiff with other counties in New Hampshire and other litigants throughout the country who are getting ready to and have been suing manufacturers, pharmaceutical companies and manufacturers of these drugs, which have created such a bad problem for many of our citizens in the United States and beyond. The next thing I want to mention to you is the meeting yesterday, May 8th. The first person that was on the agenda is Donnie Kimball, the farm manager. He presented his farm report. We are currently milking 83 cows, shipping 6,400 pounds of milk daily, averaging 77 pounds per cow. The price of milk is up a little bit. We're now receiving $16.66 a hundredweight for the milk that we produce, and we produce a very high quality milk, as we've discussed. But this is about $2 a hundredweight less than what we were getting back in January of this year. The farm staff is working on their spring work, spreading manure, plowing, and harrowing. They're going to be planting seed potatoes next week, the 14th and 15th. They've already planted their first crop of sweet corn. Again, some of these vegetables are consumed on the farm, at the nursing home, and at the House of Correction, and we also have a market stand up there as well. We are having some issues with all the spring rain that we had and high water on some of our fields for planting purposes. But we do have some very high quality land up there in North Haverhill. One of the things that I asked the farm manager, Mr. Kimball, about, and that was considering the county going into a dairy beef enterprise, as described by Mike Lunak with the University of New Hampshire Cooperative Extension, dairy specialist. And I look at this as an opportunity to be a positive revenue enhancement for the farm operation, besides the milk. If we could, because we have the dairy beef young stock that are born there on a regular basis, and there's some good opportunities there, and we've asked the farm manager to look into those things. The next person on the agenda for Tuesday, May 8th, yesterday, was Kelly Monahan, the Register of Deeds, and she always has positive reports. The Register of Deeds is the only department, agency in Grafton County that actually makes money, brings in money. A portion of the transfer stamp that's paid to the state of New Hampshire whenever real estate changes hands is paid to Grafton County. And we have some high quality properties here in the Holderness area, and certainly over in Hanover, and the industrial properties over there in Lebanon. So that's always good to have Register of Deeds Monahan in, and she gives us a very good report. Jim Oakes was the next person on the agenda, and we had asked Mr. Oakes, because he's the maintenance supervisor, to come in because we had some questions about some of the items in his budget, because we wanted to finish up the budget yesterday, and we talked about some items in his budget that maybe he could postpone. There's $145,000 in his budget to repave half of the parking areas up there at Grafton County. And because of the health insurance increases and the COLAs for the employees, we talked with him about, could we hold that off for another year or two, and especially in light where we're doing the sewer main, the forced sewer main project this year, and that's a $245,000 project. Half of it was funded in last year's budget, and the other half will be funded in the fiscal year 2019 budget that will take effect on July 1st. And Mr. Oakes reluctantly, but said that we could kick that can down the road. So we appreciate his willing to work with us on that. We had Laura Sappho come in, also the county attorney, and we talked about some issues that she's dealing with, and was the voice of Grafton County in dealing with the anti-Northern Pass project in front of the Site Evaluation Committee. The next department head that we had come in to talk about budget concerns was Craig Labor from the nursing home. And with all of the new and existing rules and regulations from the federal government and the state of New Hampshire, from the federal government specifically, the Medicaid and Medicare board out of Washington, D.C., they're constantly putting new rules and regulations on us that require us to hire more experts to take care of the paperwork and things. So there were some things that he felt we could not cut out of his budget, but other things he felt we could do some reductions. Then we met with the employee council and reported back to them on the request that they made, and we reported to them that about the only thing that we could do was give them a 1.5% increase in the COLA. And one of the issues that we have is we have in place a number of employee benefits, employee programs, benefits, salary. We have what they call step increases. But some of the employees at the county are eligible for step increases. Other employees are not. The cost of living adjustment, that applies to all of the employees at Grafton County. In the nursing home, the laundry, the jail, the farm, alternative sentencing. So these employees, they all are going to get this cost of living increase. We're also dealing with the union up there as well. But there are some employees that get step increases as well. So I'm not sure of the fairness of that in the grand scheme of things. And these are things that the commissioners need to look into, even though we're asking these questions and we're told that, well, these are things that can't be changed. Well, I need to ask those questions because in addition to the employees, and we have excellent employees up there, I need to be looking out for the needs of the taxpayers that I represent. So in the few minutes that I've got left, I would like to talk with you a little bit about the budget. The county commissioners did pass a budget yesterday after making some more adjustments, and the budget that was passed 2-1, and I was the one vote against the amount of increased spending and the amount of tax increases to the taxpayers of Grafton County, that I voted against it. So from my point of view, there are too many increases due to unnecessary burdensome rules and regulations from the federal government. But there's going to be a budget totaling $44,189,110 in spending. That will result, again, that's $44,189,110 in spending. That will result in a $26,244,241 increase in taxes. At least that's what my notes say. And that's quite a burden. That's quite a burden. So that represents a 4.65% increase in the county taxes. Now, you in your individual towns, you may not see an actual 4.65% increase on your individual town tax bill for the county. Maybe you'll see a 7 or 8% increase, or maybe in some of the towns you'll see a 1% increase. It all depends on how the State Department of Revenue Administration does its calculations in figuring out what the tax rate will be. But this is something that will affect your tax bill in your November, December tax bill, even though our fiscal year will begin on July 1st, fiscal year 2019. Again, this information will be made available to your town selectmen, and it's just something that is going to have to be dealt with. Again, it was passed 2-1 by a majority of the delegation. Again, one of the biggest parts of that increase is the health insurance, and the county commissioners did go with Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield Health Trust, and that is going to result in 5.05%. Before the COLA is that's what causing 5.5%. When that was approved by the commissioners 2-1 on April 26. Again, this is health trust insurance, and because of the deductibles and co-pays and other things that go into it, this is what the decision of the other commissioners were. So budgets are not fun. I do want to say that many of the suggestions that I made to reduce the spending were accepted by the other two commissioners, Commissioner Piper and Commissioner Lauer, but not all of my suggestions were made. One of the issues that I have is at the beginning of the budget discussions, the county administrator asked the three commissioners what they would like to see as a bottom line coming out of the budget. And basically I said, I don't want to see an increase in taxes. In fact, I'd like to see a decrease in spending. And the other two commissioners said that they were willing to live with a 4 or 5% increase in taxes. And lo and behold, that's what's happening. You're seeing a 4.65% increase in taxes. One of the things, again, I have some different thoughts on spending and what equipment may be necessary. We do have very good department heads there at Grafton County, outstanding people. And one of the things that I've noticed is when they do come in with a budget, if we say we need to cut this out of the budget or cut this out of the budget, every one of the department heads that had cuts in their budget said that they could live with those cuts. They could incorporate those cuts. They could make arrangements to do everything. And so, you know, we asked them to, you know, when we did send out the marching orders in terms of having them prepare their budget, we asked them to, you know, really be conservative. And some of the department heads came in with less spending than they did the year before. But again, the thing that hurts us this year is the cost of living increase and the insurance, the health insurance. So that is my report for now. I wish I had better news about the county budget. The thing to remember is just because the commissioners pass a budget, the final decision maker in what the county budget will be the members of the county delegation. Again, the county delegation are all the state representatives elected from within Grafton County. They wear a second hat. Besides serving in the legislature down in Concord, they are going to decide what the county budget is going to be. So later on in June, they will be considering the budget, voting on it so that we have a budget in place for July 1st, the beginning of our fiscal year. So the delegation does have the power, has the right to add to the budget, or they could decrease from the budget. And again, these budget items are going to be all made available to your selectmen in the individual towns in another couple of weeks or so. So you can be able to take a look at those things. I believe the budget numbers are also going to be on the county website. You know, Google Grafton County, New Hampshire, Grafton County Government, New Hampshire, and you'll be taken to the Grafton County website. So at this point, I don't know whether I'm over my time or at my time. And again, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to me. My name is Omer Ahern Jr. I am the District 3 Grafton County Commissioner. I want to thank the Pemmy Baker TV folks, Juliet and Andrew, for giving me this opportunity to come and speak with you through this magical things called the airwaves and television and YouTube. And I really appreciate them making this available. If you need to contact me, my phone number in Wentworth is 764-6024, and my email is omer.ahern.jr@gmail.com. Again, that's omer.ahern.jr@gmail.com. And again, I thank you, and we have a lot of work yet to do. And as I sign off, I say, God bless America and God bless the great state of New Hampshire. Thank you.